Hurricane Delta and continuing strike in Norway keep pushing oil prices higher. Brent has tested a strong resistance in today's session. The Russian ruble also benefits from the current positive background. Besides, the threat of serious EU sanctions against Russia connected with the Navalny case is gradually fading away. Hurricane Delta is expected to hit Louisiana today and then move further towards Texas. Delta is forecast to intensify to the third category of storm, with its winds reaching 193 km per hour. Oil companies have already evacuated workers from offshore platforms that account for almost 90% of the oil output in the region. Meanwhile, the strike of Norwegian oil companies is affecting the operation of the largest oil field in Western Europe. In case oil production in Norway is put on hold, the total crude output will be cut by more than 900,000 barrels per day. Although being short-term, these factors continue to support the recovery of the energy market. So oil bulls managed to stay afloat despite a weekly rise in US oil crude inventories. In addition, the announcement from the OPEC Plus served as another bullish factor for oil. It is reported that the members of the grouping are not planning to increase the production volume from January this year. The official statement should be released at the next OPEC meeting on December the 1st. The existing background pushed oil higher to the level of resistance at $43.50 per barrel. However, bulls failed to settle firmly above this mark. Currently, Hurricane Delta is the main driver for crude prices. If the storm does not cause the expected destruction, Brent futures with the nearest expiration are likely to return to the area of $40 per barrel. Likewise, a North American grade WTI displayed positive dynamics in the early session, trading above $40 per barrel. Later in the day, both benchmarks started moving to the downside. On Friday, rising oil prices and higher risk appetite contributed to the ruble's growth. Market participants are betting on Joe Biden to become the next US president and hope for extended stimulus measures. So far, the ruble's trajectory has been determined by the overall optimistic sentiment. However, traders seem to downplay the risks of US sanctions in the event Biden does actually become a president. What's more, ruble gains additional support from increased currency interventions from the Russian central bank. In the meantime, the threat of sanctions against Russia in response to Navalny's poisoning is gradually fading. The EU reportedly agreed to sanction 9 senior Russian officials and the State Research Institute of Organic Chemistry, and this is probably the lightest response that could be expected. Yesterday, the ruble considerably strengthened against the US dollar. On Friday, the Russian currency managed to reach the level of 76. So, the dollar-ruble pair lost more than 0.5% of its value in the day trade. The level of 76.50 currently serves as a strong support for the pair. If the price does not break below this mark, it may still test it. Given that the global situation stays relatively stable, including the coronavirus spread in Russia, the ruble has high chances of hitting the 75 mark against the US dollar as soon as next week. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.